Hello, my name is Lily Strobel, and today I'm going to be talking about how music is used to preserve Ainu culture. Before I begin, I would like to acknowledge Professor Lisa Friedman and Professor Kathy Carpenter for their assistance in guiding my research and proofreading my drafts. Without their help, I would not be able to present today. The reason I chose this specific topic is because I was interested in Japanese indigenous issues, and music was portrayed as paramount to the Ainu, particularly by the Japanese government. This made me want to delve into how music is used to preserve Ainu culture to understand why the government places so much emphasis on it. To begin with, who are the Ainu? The Ainu emerged as a distinct ethnicity in the 13th century, and the map on the left shows the territory in which various Ainu groups historically lived. They frequently interacted with Wajin, a Japanese language term for ethnic Japanese from the island of Honshu. In this presentation, I will use it as a way to refer to ethnic Japanese without reference to statehood. Through the centuries, the Ainu and the Wajin had frequent interactions, with staggeringly different results. The primary relationship was through trade, either of crafts made by the Ainu or of food caught by the Ainu. At points, this trade resulted in the exploitation of the Ainu and their labor, which infrequently led to violent conflict between the two sides. This eventually led to attempts at suppressing and erasing Ainu culture, such as the 1899 Hokkaido Former Aborigines Protection Act, which made many customs illegal, as well as outlawing the Ainu language from being spoken in public. The picture on the right is from a protest in 1989 that attempted to repeal this 1899 law. Even though the government was trying to suppress and erase Ainu culture, the Ainu resisted these efforts. Traditional Ainu culture rose to prominence as a tourist icon in the 1950s and 1960s. The picture on the left shows the outside to one of these tourist villages called the Kotan. This specific Kotan is located at Lake Akam. These Kotans were maintained, or in some instances created, to showcase traditional Ainu culture, such as music. The picture on the right is an example of what a musical performance could look like at a Kotan. But to talk further about music, we first have to define what music is to the Ainu. Though it may seem straightforward, there is no Ainu word for music. To the Ainu, music is feeling the presence of and communicating with the gods in the world around them. The commercialization of music has naturally drawn ire from some Ainu, who view so-called tourist Ainu as selling out. However, though Kotans primarily exist for the non-Ainu others' benefit, many feature programs that teach Ainu elements of traditional culture, such as language or music. In the modern day, there are two main approaches to Ainu music. The first favors performing music in the most traditional way, and as such, I have dubbed it the traditionalist approach. This approach of music is seen most frequently at tourist centers or cultural festivals, times when being perceived as traditional is a must. One such group is Mareru, who are featured in the image on the right. The other main approach combines traditional Ainu music with elements of more foreign music. I refer to this as the fusionist approach. Bands who take this approach are more frequently seen on tour or at musical festivals, either in Japan or abroad. The most well-known fusionist-style musical act is Okidub Ainu Band, who are in the left image. They combine Ainu language lyrics with traditional instrumentation and elements of reggae and dub music. From just a quick glance, it is immediately obvious between these two groups which is fusionist and which is traditionalist. How these groups want to be perceived in their music also affects their visual appearance. These two groups are suited to performing at different venues, so they reach different audiences. But music and musical performance doesn't exist for the sole benefit of the listener. The performer is also able to reap benefits. Within the lens of indigeneity, music can be used as a way for an individual to rediscover and or re-express their indigenous heritage. Kaya Norie, a former member of Mareru, uses music as a way to express her indigenous roots. A short documentary was made about her and posted to YouTube called Ainu My Voice, or Ainu Tasi no Koe. This documentary shows how music was used at various points throughout her life and is crucial to her understanding her identity as an Ainu. She was born into a family that performed traditional Ainu music and dance, but she stopped pursuing this because she was bullied in grade school for being Ainu. After she graduated high school, she moved to a larger city and then began to be more open about her Ainu blood. This led to her joining the band Mareru, in which she worked to figure out what being Ainu meant to her, and then express that meaning to others, principally through music. Though she did not want to, she had to drop out of the band after she had a child, which effectively prevented her from further musical endeavors. The documentary then has her travel to Florida to meet with members of the Seminole tribe. The left picture features one of those meetings. Upon seeing what life is like in the tribe, she began to wish for something similar to be available to the Ainu in Japan. For Ainu children to be able to speak the Ainu language as a mother tongue, and then be able to express themselves in whatever way they desired. The documentary then ends with her creating a song to express her journey, her emotions, and her desires, and then singing this song in one of the traditional musical styles. Music is just one of the tools that the Ainu use to help preserve their culture, and the ways in which it is done vary by individual and group. Some choose to take a purely traditional approach, while others incorporate elements of tradition with more modern and foreign music to create a new, unique sound. In both cases, the music promotes understanding of the Ainu and their history within the non-Ainu other, while simultaneously serving as a way for the artist to express their indigenous heritage. For most of history, indigenous groups and issues have been sidelined and ignored. By understanding how music is used to preserve culture and what specific elements music does preserve, we can better understand the Ainu as a unique and diverse culture, rather than simply relegating them to another victim of colonialism.